Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakakwadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, and peace and salutations to you Akim out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the Brother Raya with another video, and I'm going to start it off with Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1 through 3. I will stand upon my watch, and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And Yahweh answered me and said, Write the vision, and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it, which the true men of the Lord are doing, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, by going out there on the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this to not only warn you Israelites, but you heathen nations of what's to come. Verse 3, For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. And one of these major prophecies that seems like it's tarrying, but is quickly on its way, is World War III, which will be nuclear armed. This is Revelation chapter 9, verse 12. One woe or destruction is past, World War I, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter, World War II and the aforementioned World War III, which is going to kick off in the Middle East. It's going to be that battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, or that War of Armageddon, and it's going to be those Amalekite, Edomite imposters in the land of Israel who call themselves Israelis and Jewish that are going to kick off this war. This is Jeremiah 49, verse 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom. You Edomites are so-called white people, which those Amalekite Israelis are a part of, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, those Amalekite Edomites. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. And the way that these Amalekite Edomites are going to draw them out is by provoking Iran to attack them, or creating some false flag situation to make it look like Iran attacked them, so it'll drag in the United States on the side of the state of Israel, and drag in Russia, China, and other nations on the side of Iran, gathering these nations down into the Valley of Jehoshaphat for that War of Armageddon. And if you have the eyes to see, you can see all these different pieces are coming together to bring about this war. A further example of that is this article on ZeroHedge.com titled, U.S. joins secret talks between Israel and UAE targeting Iran. Surely the least of the flock, Israel, shall draw them out, the United States. Secret talks have been ongoing between Israel and the United Arab Emirates, focused on sharing intelligence against Iran and possibly military cooperation. The talks have progressed to the point that the U.S. is now joining the talks too. Again, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Israel and the UAE have some security ties, but don't have public relations. That they're discussing Iran reflects Israel's long-standing hostility toward Iran and the UAE's close proximity to Iran. And the United Arab Emirates talking to Israel is also a part of prophecy. When we go to the United Arab Emirates on Wikipedia, it reads, the United Arab Emirates, literally State of the United Arab Emirates, sometimes simply called the Emiratis, is a country in Western Asia at the southeast end of the Arabian Peninsula on the Persian Gulf, bordering Oman to the east and Saudi Arabia to the south and west, as well as sharing maritime borders with Qatar to the west and Iran to the north. And Saudi Arabia, Oman, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates are going to be in this battle of the Valley of Jehoshaphat on the side of Israel and the United States, though at the last second, like all of the United States' other allies, they're going to turn against the U.S. and Israel and ally themselves with Russia to go against the United States and Israel. This is 2 Esdras chapter 15. I'm going to start at verse 28. Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, the Middle East, the Valley of Jehoshaphat, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Oman, Qatar, shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, their military force, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Verse 30, also the Carmanians, which is another name for the Iranians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come, and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. This upcoming war of Armageddon, that nuclear-armed World War III, and they're going to go forth as wild boars because they know that once the U.S. and Israel start a war against them, that it's going to drag in their major allies, Russia and China. And when you go to a map of where the United Arab Emirates is, it's right here. And you've got Saudi Arabia right here, which also plays a major part in prophecy, because Saudi Arabia is going to be the main staging ground for the United States to go against Iran in this upcoming war. This is Joel chapter 2, verse 20. But I will remove far off from you the northern army, the United States military, all branches, the majority of which is going to be brought to the Middle East for this war of Armageddon, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, the Middle East, Saudi Arabia being the main staging ground, with his face toward the East Sea. And when we go to a map of the Middle East, you have Saudi Arabia right here, and to the east you have the Persian Gulf, and what's above the Persian Gulf? Iran. And if you watch the news, you've been hearing a lot about the Persian Gulf and the Strait of Hormuz lately. And to the northeast, you've got the Tigris and Euphrates River, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea behind him, the Red Sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he hath done great things. There's going to be a great slaughter of all these troops from these different nations once this war kicks off. And also, I did a video a couple of months ago on how the U.S. is returning military forces to an air base in Saudi Arabia. And what's important about that is this air base was the same base that the United States used before launching a war against Iraq during Operation Desert Storm, and also launching war against Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003. Real quick, this is an article from NBC News. U.S. military has begun reestablishing air base inside Saudi Arabia. Hundreds of U.S. troops, fighter jets, and Patriot missile defense systems are moving to Prince Sultan Air Base, officials said, and I will remove far off from you the northern army to a land barren and desolate. While some are presenting the U.S. joining of the talks as proof they are making progress, a lot isn't understood about what's going on, and particularly unclear is what the UAE is trying to work out. The UAE seems to be trying to balance multiple interests as they've tried to talk to Iran about maritime security in recent days, and seem not to be looking to pick fights with them. That's in stark contrast to Israel, for whom picking fights with Iran is the centerpiece of decades of foreign policy. The least of the flock shall draw them out. It's clear that the UAE has an interest in keeping the U.S. happy, and that probably requires keeping Israel at least sort of placated in this regard. So while they aren't trying to start anything against Iran, they're trying to walk the tightrope of balancing both sides to keep everyone satisfied. And in the end, it's all futile, because though it tarry, wait for it, it shall surely come. It will not tarry. One woe is past, and behold, two woes more hereafter. World War III will happen. This is Joel chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, which the men of the Lord are doing, by again going out to the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this. Prepare war, that third woe, World War III, the battle in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, war of Armageddon. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, such as United States military personnel going to that Saudi Arabian air base, which was used previously before going to war against Iraq during Operation Desert Storm and going to war against Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003. Verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. And you can see that all these nations are gearing up towards war. Just recently, the United States exited from the INF Treaty, which is going to lead to the United States and Russia building up their nuclear arsenal. And where it says, let the weak say I am strong, Iran is saying they're strong by being more provocative towards the Western powers, such as boarding that British oil tanker and other provocative moves, such as talking about how they can wipe Israel off the face of the earth, and that if the U.S. goes to war with them, it's pretty much going to be a wrap for the U.S. And the reason they're being so bold is because they know that once a war starts with them, that Russia's going to be dragged into it to come to their defense. Verse 11, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, the United States, the State of Israel, the United Arab Emirates, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Russia, China, Britain, Germany, etc., and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. And these mighty ones are the death angels of the Most High, waiting to get the order to release all this destruction. Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. And when you look up that word Jehoshaphat, it means Yahweh's Shaphat, or Yahweh's judgment. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Salakia. And the reason all this is happening is because the Most High is judging you heathens for all the iniquities you've committed against the apple of his eye, the true children of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, not just in the past, but all the way up until today, chiefly you Edomites, or so-called white people. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So to you sincere Akim out there, our salvation is nearer than when we believed. Any minute now, all hell's going to break loose. So now more than ever, you should have all 10 toes down in this truth, pushing this word as hard as you can to make your calling and election sure, and have that protective hedge of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai over you during these coming terrible times of Jacob's trouble. So with that, I hope you sincere Akim were edified, and as always, I'm going to say Abba Bal, Kwam Yasharala. Till next time, Shalom.